Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. I'm sorry about that. Today we're meeting at our annual science conference, and I'm happy to welcome everyone to today's meeting. We came up with something new and different for our conference. So last year we held in an unusual and beautiful place. And today's conference will be divided not only into two sections, but also in 2 days, as you can see. Welcome everyone to the second day of science.
We'll begin our wonderful day today. Let me introduce the experts. Grigori Mamontov, Head of Laboratory of Porous Materials and Surfaces. It's the teacher at the Department of English. Екатерина Гор, graduated student conference in 2020 and 2021. Ksenia Kazanskaya, Research Fellow of Laboratory of Physical and Chemical. Nina Chernykova, member of Department of
Well, the experts are represented, so it's time for some introductions. And as a tradition of yesterday, today we're watching the sequel. Or for those who are the first time here, let's jump right to the second part.
Chemistry for me is the way how to understand how the world works. It's the base of everything. Chemistry serves as the way to control quantity of the food and the daily things. It also helps to solve different crimes. Chemistry is here and here.
First and the last rule of English speaking club. If this is your first time, you have to have joy. Welcome to the English speaking club.
Chemistry is amazing science. Studying chemistry allows us to create new materials, medicine, techniques which can improve our lives. But the most importantly, studying chemistry was because it's very interesting and it helps understand world around us. Good luck!
You know, I'm a big fan of watching different cartoons and movies, and as you can see, I do love our department and chemistry. Knowledge of chemistry background helps me to watch films more properly, and I can analyze films more objectively and enjoy it better. At present-day conference, my groupmate Olya and I are going to show you the connection between chemistry and cinematography. I hope you will enjoy conference.
An American poet once wrote, "Do you know the won't progress under the stars? Do you know we exist?" I have a strange feeling these lines resonate with today's event. Day by day, we are hooked by routine. Day by day, we are devoured by dead ends and deadlines. Therefore, we are holding today's event to remind ourselves of the fact that we can challenge, we can manage, and we can be ourselves. Yes, we can. Good luck.
Try not to cry, not to use beautiful words. And before we begin, let's go over some important organization issues. The conference schedule for the program is in front of you. Second will be appear. Don't worry about that. You can get it both by QR code or in paper form in front of you.
Программа для всех желающих находится перед вами. Получить ее можно как по QR-коду, который сейчас откроется, так и в бумажном виде.
Let's be environmentally conscious and remember, handling plastic, nature's fantastic. List all the plastic stuff on the table, we'll collect it.
Придерживаемся экологии и помним, пластик даем, планету бережем. Оставляйте все пластиковые предметы, стаканчики в частности, бутылки на столах, мы все соберем.
Gently remind you, turn off your cell phones for the duration of the conference and let things wait a bit.
Во время конференции включите свои мобильные телефоны, и пусть все дела немножко подождут.
Oh, cute. Everybody is near their phones. Well, all important points have been settled. The speakers are the limit of nerves, so we can begin our second day of the conference, Mystic and Emotional Chemistry. As I remember, yesterday you ended up with some good reports of cinematography.
Yes, it was just unbelievable and fabulous.
Yes, it's a shame that so in props and science is often tempted for the beauty of the brain.
What? How?
That will be our next talk, I suppose. Maria Granikova and Dmitry Shevakov with their report Mythbusters Forensic Mysteries.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I want to present you the presentation by Maria and Dmitry based on the cinematography performance of some chemical phenomena. There is table of contents and the subject of the presentation in analysis of series of experiments mentioned in cinematography creations to show you that people shouldn't trust everything they see on TV.
Hi there. You want to know something interesting about me? Well, my name is. My name is Matthew O'Kelly. My name is Matthew O'Kelly, and I'm working in this police office for 34 years. I'm always working alone. I'm a bad cop, you know? Modern generation of forensics just trust everything they see. They just watch TV and search the internet. Incredibly, I can't work with them.
Good day, Mr. Kelly. I'm an intern and I will work with you.
Guido, sorry, I'm working alone. Such young people doesn't know anything about forensic science. Okay, try yourself. Can you give me some examples about myths, about crimes?
Oh, yeah, I have an example. Everybody know about chloroform, yeah? So, chloroform is a powerful anesthetic. We know it by its using in various movies. It's very common cliché. So, yeah, there is quite a bit of truth. It's working by inhalation as well. But the thing is that the unconsciousness occurs after inhaling chloroform vapors for about 5 minutes, not 5 seconds at all.
Okay, let it be.
Oh, I remembered another one example. In the film called Fight Club, it was mentioned about how to make the dynamite. It was so cool.
Absurd! Everything is alive. Okay, I suppose I need to explain.
As the fat renders, the tallow should float to the surface, like in Boy Scouts.
Hard to imagine you as a Boy Scout.
Keep stirring. Once the tallow hardens, you skim off a layer of glycerin. If you were to add nitric acid, you got nitroglycerin. If you were then to add sodium nitrile, a dash of sawdust, you got dynamite.
So the main characters used main human fat. It's worth noting that for making a soap, you can use every fat, like pork or beef. So there is no need to wait the liquefaction cleaning. We see that characters didn't plan to obtain a soap. They did these actions to obtain a glycerin, to produce a dynamite. So Tyler Durden mixes the fat with water. Then he heats this mixture. The water wasn't distilled, so we can speak about impurities. Then, during the heating, the partial decomposition of the fat produces glycerin. Then characters cooled this mixture. The most lightweight parts, not only glycerin, but also impurities, water, and byproducts turn out to be on the surface. This product requires many purification steps to become usable in pyrotechnic production. Next step, he told us about adding nitric acid. But if you add nitric acid to the purest glycerin, you can't produce nitroglycerin. First of all, you need to use fuming, concentrated nitric acid, and also concentrated sulfuric acid as a catalyst. Also, character mentioned that they used sodium nitrate and sawdust. These steps are justified, but nowadays people gave up using sawdust and prefer cellulose or paper because of its high absorbency. Last weekend, some teens trying to burn my car by making thermite. The ingredients were right, but they failed again.
Oh, thanks for reminding me. One more example. In the film called Breaking Bad, it was mentioned about making the thermite, but there is some chemically inaccurate moments we can see.
So, what's this stuff called again?
Thermite, called the Gustav gun. And he could melt right through 4 inches of solid steel and destroy that gun forever.
So, in this moment, we can see that the character put out the gray powder, which is the aluminum from the toys, and mix it with the brown powder, which is the iron oxide. And he called this mixture thermite. So, the next.
Find out in about 10 seconds.
Then they apply the thermite. So, I have some comment about this moment. In fact, you can't use the common burner to set fire to the thermite because its temperature is not as high as thermite needs. But the best way is to using the sparkler because it has enough temperature and exposure time. So then look at the door. You see, it has no damage. But the termite have a temperature about 3000 degrees Celsius. For this reason, the door and the lock have to have a melt, but we can't see any damage.
You're right, Guido. Critical thinking is a necessary skill for every forensic expert. Occasionally, only due to this, the most complicated cases are solved. The disappearance of a boy from Sierra is an example of an ignorance of chemical basics and partially of incompetence of the forensics of that time. So how it was? Juan Pedro was born in January 1976. At the moment of his disappearance, his weight was 65 kilograms and height 1.55 meters. These are important pieces of information. June 25, 1986. At 6 in the morning, the Volvo F12 truck with 20,000 liters of nearly pure sulfuric acids for industrial uses goes down of Sierra mountain pass. The driver of the truck was Juan's father. Also, the truck was Juan's mother. Over the way, the truck has been stopped 4 times near little caves. The last time where Gomez's family were seen was near roadside cave, where little Juan ordered a cup of milk and cookies. Further, the truck made 12 stops, lasting from 15 to 30 seconds, and then gained speed. The truck overtuned at 95th kilometer, accelerating at speed 140 kilometers per hour. To neutralize the consequence of this accident, were used 15,000 kilograms of lime. After clearing the territory, in the truck was found 2 corpses. It was Juan's mother and father. And also in the truck were found children's clothes. This case remains unsolved to the present day. The police hypothesized that the boy's body was entirely eroded, but chemists denied because the entirely erosion of human's body takes at least 2 weeks, despite the fact that nails and hairs should be remained. Unfortunately, the lost time can be earned back. And this mysterious case marked by Interpol as one of the most difficult cases in the last 3 decades. Chemicals search about anything that exists. They develop and use materials for industry, medicine, engineering, solve ecology problems by coming up with new methods of analyzing of pollutants. Chemists could find a vacant spot in every corner of our boundless homeland. The most applicated branches of chemistry is forensic research.
Forensic fascinates people. Nevertheless, it suggests them to look critically, don't trust anything you see, and meticulously analyze the information.
Please to answer them. Well, colleague, if I could name your colleague by herself. Thank you for the report.
Also, time I doubt the veracity of what was being shown, but not to this extent.
Well, and while my colleague is in the middle of state of shock, as I am, please ask your question.
Could you please speak on the topic of thermite once more? So you have mentioned that we require some much more powerful source of heat than just a burner, right? Some kind of a sparkler. So what is it? I've never heard of it.
Sparkler?
Yes. You speak?
No, sparkler, it's just a stick from that you burn on the new air. Yeah.
Oh.
Sparkler.
All right. So we cannot just use the regular matches because I had such an experience of preparing the thermite. So I've just used the matches and it worked. It exploded. So, well, it depends apparently. All right.
You said about nitroglycerin. My question is, what you can say about stability of nitroglycerin, which we prepare in our house for your recipe? Okay, my house. Household.
About stability.
Yes.
It's very unstable, so the characters use mineral sodium nitrate to absorb it, and also sawdust.
Maybe one more question.
I have one. So maybe I just did that, but I would like to listen for your opinion about dedication to child.
The Police have a lot of versions, and I like this version. You want to know my opinion? Yes. I like this version that it's one of the stops that they made, the longest stop, they took the child from the truck and gave it to relatives because some magazines published some articles about this child. That somebody has seen Pedro or older.
Thank you very much. Sorry, we have 5 minutes. Maria, Dmitry, thank you for your report.
I was in for a bit of a disappointment.
Brain is science, often brings great sadness, maybe sometimes sadness.
That's what my horoscope said.
Oh yes, stars align. You know, the aspect that we have now is completely disregarded science.
Science. I don't know if you should call it science.
It's not now, but it used to be.
Wait, can you tell me about that later? In the meantime, I'd like to introduce an alternative way of getting to know yourself with random coincidence. For this, I give the floor to Anastasia Pimankina and Maria Kamulina with their report, Get to Know Yourself with the Periodic Table.
Let's dive into some magic of numbers and chemistry. As you know, the atoms that compose the world around must carry all the necessary information. This was guessed by alchemists who established the connection with some metals, sun, and planets, and prefer the destinies of people. Astrology allows to determine the great diameter of a person using the correct place of the stars, namely by zodiacal constellations. But instead, the zodiacal science, another system of science, is required, which describes the existence of people and more things. This refers the date of birth to the number of a chemical element. There is a formula that connects the exact date of birth of a person with the atomic number. Now you can calculate what elements are you from in the periodic table. To find out which chemical element determines your fate, perform the calculation according to the formula given. If the result of calculation is 0, in this case, the final result will assume to be equal to 1. You can have a look in the table. Sorry, I have one.
tips for Vincent.
Yeah, so everybody can now have a chance to check what element you are. So please do that. Scan the QR code. Let's just give people some time. You can have a look at the table and find your element. The formula includes chemical elements from 1 to 93. Elements with higher numbers are not included in the system because the chemical properties are not specific. Now listen attentively to find out what your personality is according to the result of that. So we know from organic chemistry that alkali metals are highly reactive, so cannot be cut by a plastic knife. Well, people who belong to the group are extremely energetic, efficient, have a gentle nature, and are easygoing. Showing the parallel between the properties of the elements and human traits, we created a table which includes the main groups of chemical elements. Let's see what traits have people who fall in the center of the periodic table. Moving on. Alkaline earth metals, people are inferior to alkaline metals in general, but they are also sociable and goal-oriented, easy to make new acquaintances. In addition metals, people are very extroverted to communicate with, have a cheerful nature, they like bright colors. A distinctive feature of high metals is the ability to resist life challenges and their reserved behavior. Most traditional metals are tolerant. They can find common language with different people. People whose elements belong to the group of minerals are introverted. Their sociability depends on the group in which they belong. Lanthanides are acquired trait in nature and prone to burnout, the rate of which depends on half-life of isotope. Actinides have an explosive temper and prone to burnout, the rate of which depends on the half-life of the isotope. Non-metals have an extensive range of properties according to the physical or chemical properties of the elements and their allotropic modifications. Halogens have a cheerful nature but prone to toxic irony. They like to stand out from the crowd. Finally, noble gases are self-sufficient, have a persistent character, and don't like to take the initiative. There is no need to list other properties of elements because you can take any chemistry textbook and discover for yourself the human qualities of elements that have not been mentioned. The question that probably excites everyone is how to find the right person. From the point of view of chemistry, the elements that form the most separate parts suit each other. It should be noted that in the periodic table, there are more metals or elements with distinct metallic properties. There are only 16 chemically active nonmetals that can form stable compounds with metals. Does this mean that for metals it is very difficult to choose a partner? Of course not, because there is such an excellent option as the formation of metallic alloys. By the way, non-metals can also form good stable compounds, for example, organic substances. To conclude, we'd like to state the advantage of chemistry is a field based on fundamental science. It provides necessary data for making horoscopes and understandable interpretation that don't conflict each other. It will also allow you to study and remember the physical or chemical properties of the elements, and well as to know yourself better. Thank you for listening. We will please answer questions.
For the report, okay, let's do the math. I'm at English for metal.
I really believe it so quickly.
Why wouldn't I look everything fit in the description? I think by asking questions to the presenters, you'll be much more convinced of the validity of their method.
What is your question? Please.
Thank you. I have one question also. Education is something reading or just for fun? But knowledge is one.
In my opinion, this system, I like this system because I like chemistry. It's more scientific for me. That soldier.
And what would you like to say? People who don't have any common characteristics with the description that you gave us. So here rests some characteristics for each group of metals, non-metals. But what would you say? But what do you tell people who don't have like any common characteristics with the characteristics you gave us? If it doesn't work. Thank you. Yes, please.
I will give it a nice. It's really nice. I did pass this test and calculate formula with your personal penalty. Did you pass it?
Did you take
I'm element 83 is bismuth. Bismuth is a transition metals. Transition metals are tolerant. It's about
You answered all my next question. Have you some common and
transition metals.
and characteristic of energy, it's also energy by you, like this. I agree that's the characteristic.
I agree.
question?
I have one question too. Can you please back to the non-metals? Why non-metals? Because I catch this really good description. Can be hard like a diamond or soft like graphite. Don't you think it's too common and every people could be described like can be hard like a diamond and soft like graphite?
Chemical properties are extensive range of properties. I think in the system need to extend that.
Well, okay, thank you.
Can it be so that every description for each of these elements suits to any of us? It means that whichever element you wrote, the description would suit you.
No, I think the description maybe suit with a slide as a slow.
The last one, please.
Okay. Did you write the descriptions by yourself or you just copied it from site maybe? The descriptions of little elements, did you write it through?
Yes.
Okay. It's funny. If you look for translate modification and method, you get ridiculous and funny things.
Speaking of absurd and funny things, I think we should create a domain that is stored trains and string it at the same time. I think our colleagues can help us.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
A lot of people like to listen to music. Some people really like listen English songs in Russian. Yeah, like covers. Something like covers. But have you ever heard Russian songs covers in English? Today, we are going to introduce you some Russian songs converted by Google Translate, and you need to guess the name of the song in Russian.
Also, you will see pictures. The show is related to the song on the slide. It's not like that one. See it on the slide. Well, you will be watching. We will read its text in English.
Yeah, like this. For a week before the second, I will leave for Komarova. Look at them and customers I the Baltic way. Okay.
And what is the song? Yes! Oh, without text.
Yeah, also, if you don't or can't guess, you will see the hint, the text from the song. So the answer is Komarova, of course. Yes. Okay, next one.
Okay.
It's too fast.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Every fault. Next one is blood type on the sleeve, serial number on the sleeve. Which you like?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It will be not so easy in the future. Next
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Why are you so smart? Yeah, it is. Oh, this will be a rather complicated one. How many songs still unwritten? Say cuckoo, sing. Should I read this?
Yes.
Oh, you're so. Of course it is.
Okay. Okay. It was a rolling game, and you guessed right. And I should expect any more miracle, but I am standing in front of you, and it's not clear what I'm catching. I just can leave. I love you strongly. She will return. Yes.
It is. Next one is rather easy. Tell me about an earthly app that you're very gentle and underrated for anything, but you don't need heavenly love. Dreaming, you call me dreaming, and you and I are not together. Yes, yes, it is.
Okay.
What is it?
Yes.
How it can be?
Oh, okay. I'm so tired. How are you?
Yeah, I'm also tired. I had a really sore throat. So does anybody want to come to us and read like quiz and text to others?
Some volunteer?
Some volunteers?
Read the text.
Yes.
I will.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which text?
No. Everything's clear.
Slow to make it right, and let them all sound the same. And let it be right and not talented, but as he could, he played and sang on the guitar. Graduation, and you are in a beautiful dress. And you're about 17 years old.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else?
Anybody else wants to come to us? Maybe from experts? Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Come to me.
We put the sound on all the neighbors do not sleep. Who is below. You will forgive me. And then talk about love until the morning. This is my Ian. This is my Ian.
Well, the super chat.
No. No.
You just wanted to.
No. Okay.
A hint?
Eunice, when you're.
Yes.
Love bro Eunice. And the last one?
Okay.
The last one.
Especially for you.
Thank you. In my universe, you were the master, and no one around, only you alone. But it turned out that you are not indispensable. I opened the world of other men. I opened the world of other men.
Yes. Thank you for participating.
Exactly. Sometimes the way that things are sort of permanent, and if they were aliens, what we're talking about, couldn't be both with the eyes of the beholder. Every living thing, whether it is small, deep, or large, high placing, harmony, and cyclicity. What's picture of? Even our heartbeat, our balance, life, force, and ourselves to lead this life very flexible way to raise ourselves. It's not one with nature, harmony with the universe.
You are right, and there's harmony not only in the living, but also seemingly lifeless and simple. I give the floor to our next speakers, Vladislav Sergeyev and Alexandra Dushina, with their report Accelerated Reaction to Transport Side and Climate Magic.
Hello, today we'd like to talk about acyclic reactions. Acyclic reaction are among the most fascinating of chemical reactions. In one type of reaction, a mixture of chemicals goes through a sequence of color changes, and the sequence repeats periodically. In another, the mixture periodically emits a burst of gas and foaming up. Accelerating reaction and engaging examples of chemical magic. For people who are familiar with chemistry, this reaction mystery and a challenge. A more appropriate physical model for an oscillating reaction would be a clock. In oscillating chemical reaction, the concentration of some components of the reaction mixture pass through repeatedly from the same value. But the energy releasing reaction that drives these oscillations proceeds continuously to completion, such as the clock is running down while its hands rotate. The chemical oscillator is running down as it oscillates.
The problem of how oscillating chemical reaction occur has been examined theoretically to establish ways in which oscillations can happen. The action mechanism of the all now chemical oscillator have at least 3 common features. First, while the oscillations occur, the chemical mixture is far from equilibrium and an energy releasing reaction occurs whose energy drives the oscillating threshold. Second, the energy releasing reaction can follow at least 2 different pathways, and the reaction can switches from one pathway to another. And third, one of these pathways produces certain intermediate while another pathway consumes it, and the concentration of this intermediate function as a trigger for the switching from one pathway to another. When the concentration of the intermediate is low, the reaction follows the producing pathway, leading to a relatively high concentration of the intermediate. When the intermediate's concentration is high, the reaction switches to a consuming pathway. Eventually, the reaction reverts to the producing pathway. The reaction repeatedly switches from one pathway to another.
For the occurrence of oscillating reaction, several conditions must be met. The oscillating system must be open to an exchange of energy and materials from the medium. And several, at least 2, can take steady states, which between states no thermodynamic equilibrium must have set. The system may oscillate when a reaction step involves feedback, such as by after catalysis. As an example, let us examine the well-known Belousov-Zhabotinsky reaction of bromide with malonic acid catalyzed by cerium ions in acidic solution.
We used 4 solutions with potassium bromide, tetravalent cerium, potassium bromide, and malonic acid. And the 4th solution is chlorine and trivalent ion. We use an analytical balance to weigh reagents and chemical figures for dissolving reagents and their magnetic stir. Let's observe. We add the solutions to a beaker one by one.
were mixed with solutions with a magnetic story. Some chemical reactions are demonstrated in the video. We can observe the color transition from blue to purple and from purple to pink. When the color turns from red and back to blue, which repeats periodically. Let's observe. Thank you for your attention. Colleagues, thanks for the report. How beautiful this sandals look for. I can't. You can't take the rest of them.
I think the grade of the two format had the same then to go.
I don't know about him, but I wonder the goal of driving our presenters. I think it's a great question. Some question, please.
My question is about the duration of this reaction. As I can see, as I can see in the video, the reactions don't lead to the recovery of the reactions. It means that the time is limited. How long this reaction is conducted, this concentrations?
This reaction proceeds while the concentration of reagent is not low. Так. The more concentration we add the solution as more proceeds of the reaction.
Means that you measure the time of this reaction. You didn't measure the microphone. Okay, thank you.
The report is very interesting phenomenon. And I have a question about this complex of reactions. Do you know some usage of for this phenomenon, maybe in science or engineering or some industry, or it's just
oscillating reaction are used in electrical chemistry because the period oscillations depends on the concentration of the components. Also, this reaction this similar oscillations, there are other areas of science. And this reaction, a good theoretical model for describing this process.
I get it correctly that this phenomenon is used for the quantitative observation.
Yes.
I have a little comments. So very nice that you have experiments out to show this.
Thanks.
Open this slide. And you can see the listener what value is on the axis vertical axis. Yes.
Vertical, the concentration of intermediate.
Thank you.
Anyone want to ask something?
You see this fraction or maybe other traffic light fraction or faculty of chemistry, maybe in school or entertainment events.
Repeat, please.
Do you see this reaction or other traffic light reaction for faculty of chemistry, maybe in school or entertainment events?
I don't see this reaction.
So university was your first experience.
Yes.
Okay. Vladislav, Alexandra, thank you for your report. About the beauty industry, I think because the standards are different every era, and many people want fashion as perpetual motion.
And yet, I think everyone sells something that doesn't have much impact. So, our next speaker will help us to deal with such a difficult question. I give the floor to Sophia Lemon, with her book, Chemistry and Beauty Industry, How to Sell Non-Existent Impact.
Notice situation when you hold new domain jar with the description, which is jar promises you to not wrinkles. If you don't have wrinkles, it promises you to prevent their appearance, make your skin soft, fresh, highlighting, and even make plastic surgery for you and bring papers in the bed. In addition, these jars also promise you not to contain, unlike other domain jar, harmful compounds, not to block pores, cause cancer, acne, diarrhea, and psoriasis. I think everyone is familiar with this paragraph for marketing specialist table, but how to choose the pharmacy benefits. So today I'm going to dispel the most common myth used by marketing, draw a distinction between drug and cosmetics, and clarify what tricks companies use to get rid of pseudoscience. So let's review the popular statements as true or false. And first statements, parabens cause cancer because they are hormone-like. It's false. Parabens comes in several forms. Methylparaben, ethylparaben, butylparaben, and isobutylparaben. The statements that they cause cancer is based on 2004 research by Dr. Philip Darbre. The finding of this research demonstrates that 18 out of 20 breast cancer tissue samples contain parabens. So this research didn't stand up to criticism. The breast tumor have large blood supply, so it's likely any chemical found in the bloodstream with the breast tumor. Can paraben mimic act of estrogen? So it's true, but paraben are extended class of chemical compounds. On a particular unit of this one, it's weakly act mimic estrogen, but moreover, this component are not applied in the industry. So the paraben-free label is just marketing trick. The second statement.
sulfates are aggressive to the human body, and drum roll, it's false. Of course, you met with CLS in the composition. This is sodium lauryl sulfate, most common sulfate in the household products. In early 19th, information about toxicity of CLS started appearing. The point was CLS is product of oil and cream and it's toxic. Yes, CLS really obtained from lauryl alcohol or the decanol, and the decanol can be synthesized from petroleum or coconut or palm oil. But most important, the origin of the substance must be clearly indicated from nature of oil, and this monitored by international nomenclature of cosmetic ingredients in the CI. The second controversial statement about CLS, that CLS wasn't a drug. Usually the source of this statement is 1987 issue in the Journal of Biological Chemistry. Irritation forced to cataract formation. However, this achieved after eye of laboratory animals were repeatedly exposed to 0.5 milliliter of shampoo for 14 days. In the whole, the purpose of this research was modeling the process of cataract development, and this doesn't equal the research of influence on the human health. The processes are different. According to the National Library of Medicine Toxin Database, CLS is not classified as mutagen, toxicant, neurotoxicant on the root. The first segment. Silicones form a film and skin sweat. It's a useless compound with a fake pepper, and it's false. The skin feel has been always as a key aesthetic parameter. Silicones are well known for the special skin feel which they provide. Now, silicone is one of most well-studied material of all material used in the industry application today. The silicone oxygen bond is very stable, not easily oxidate and inert. This is a benefit when it contacts with biological tissue. Silicone are permeable materials, but however, still misunderstand about silicones still exist. To the clarifying permeability of silicones, research was performed to show water vapor permeability of three most common silicone containing systems. The applying of film formers is required in cosmetics. Silicone film formers has a good water vapor permeability, but also have good stable repellency more than organic film formers. More recent research has shown enhancement of silicones. The Food, Drugs and Cosmetics Act, FDA, draw a distinction between cosmetics and drugs. Unfortunately, until the marketing label says about curing disease or have effect on the function of the body, and the product is considered as cosmetics. This fact is free of company of necessity to provide any kind of proof. In the absence of the meaningful recreation, skincare products market is filled with unproven and controversial promises. The company are careful when phrasing in their marketing materials. Only thing that can guarantee is reduce the appearance or promote or boost the production or become better than Botox. Never mind, Botox is neurotoxin, has been FDA approved to the wrinkle treatment. The most cosmetics products is considered as drug if they contain scientifically proven component like retinol or alpha-hydroxy. In the contrary, the most cosmetics skincare products mainly contain their less effective derivative or ridiculously low concentration. The skin care products may brand themselves as clinically proven or dermatologist recommended, but the term have no industry definition or strict settlement, and it's all empty words. The FDA and Federal Trade Commission of FTC finally noticed the potential consumer cheating. Since 2010, the FDA and FTC issued 10 warning letters to the big cosmetics company, discovering that the company describes the products as have medical effects.
The companies include L'Oreal, Avon, Nivea, and L'Occitane. In their marketing materials, the companies describe their products' capability to change gene expression, stop process of aging, or even promote weight loss. Under threat of legal action, the companies were ordered to produce scientific evidence to that statements of staff making that statements altogether, and all of the firms choose the latter option. That's all. Thanks for attention.
Thanks for the report. Is there anyone who wants to say?
Wait, time to think about what I heard.
Well, my colleague said collective. Great. Please, it's time for questions.
Thank you. So far, I'd like to say what you're doing right. Could you please go to this slide on estrogen and Paradise? Thanks. Even mistakenly, you said that they don't look same.
This estrogen for comparison because some people think they look the same, and
they almost don't look the same, but they could have the same ethnic groups because the see-through groups with the node, not because they are almost the same, but they have some common ethnic groups. For example, there is an group where some northern group.
Okay, I think the estrogen mimic of bands is depend of the length of this carbon chain, and when change even length, it's can mimic like estrogen.
And so they have the same person, they have and can you describe the experiment with the connection of parabens in cancer? What was
this research is officially pseudoscience, and I really don't know how Dr. Filippa Darbre is do her experiment, but I think she take breast cancer tissue samples and obtain it on a microscope. I really hope it's really that they should do.
So she had cancer cells, and she found some parabens in the position of it, and she decided that the parabens would be cause of cancer. So, it's so strange. Thank you.
Anything else to ask? Well, if there is no questions, Sophia, thank you for your report. No, I think we can break for a short break. Break, пьем чай, кушаем печеньки. Пока что я буду проводить совместно в 8 аудитории 15 минут. Встречаемся в 10 минут. Через 10
Что ты так сидишь? Что ты там? Ты так смешно. Максим после Канады, что две подряд даже. Я его возглавил, я его зубанкой встал. Я ожидал. Естественно, что еще сначала, потому что вот этот я целое дело, я пришел с невеселым настроением. С невеселым, может, ты сказал. А? Иди. У нас ведущий раздражает.
Я таким же вопросом задался, я пришел. Блин, а как же органика? Ну, мы органику закончили, значит, тут много людей, придется посмотреть. Тут людей нет. А ты что сидишь? Слушай. Интересно? Ну, поинтереснее еще. Погоди, вчера ты выступаешь, но мы же себе, тут можем. Тоже, тут можно и послушать, да, там. Там, ну, кроме себя больше никого не слушаешь. Это правда. В любом случае, прощайте, Андрей. Прощайте.
Илья, можешь эту презентацию выложить куда-нибудь? Я пересмотрел просто, я пока эти цифры вбивал, я вообще всю классификацию.
А ты не помог?
Ну, дура.
А ты так душно.
Почему так душно? Хороший вопрос, Софа. Почему так?
Ну а что намекаешь? Ты сейчас в чайках мне короче.
Почему душно, Софа? Почему ты не пролез в помещение?
Потому что я люблю вкусный запах и запах много предложения.
Спасибо большое. Запах чего ты любишь? Это как-то связано с дрядом?
Это майндшторм или как-то вот.
Да, не сколько.
Я по совмещению лица оказалось, что вообще вот эта реакция, она заставила человечество задуматься о том, вообще как система funktioniert. По отношению к этой системе. То есть понятие хаоса через это ну, хорошо. Вот такая вот история. Я вот эту реакцию открыл. Советские журналисты невозможно пребывание в как идеальный диалектика, она же аутимист, как они говорили, невозможные автопребывания мистических реакций. И 8 лет не публиковали, потом все-таки публиковали, в Латинске он был аспирантом, поисследовал, интересная вещь, он поисследовал очень успешно. То есть открыл и ну, философия там не написано, математика, биология. Надо еще есть. Они самые последние. Да, я бы спросил. Нет, а мне у нас
Я даже сохраню память.
Что-то нам рассказывал.
Да, я сам чисто Он дал. Разделить это не очень. Хорошо. Если мы его спрашиваем, то значит функционально.
Сложно. So, right, I suppose we can continue all this. Right, so we welcome you back. Thank you once more for joining the second part of this day. So we hope that you have satisfied your hunger and ready to absorb new knowledge that we receive.
Well, I've already covered a lot of mystical visual things today, but you know what was my interest of reading from the title?
So what is it?
Boiling stones.
Boiling.
Stones.
Well, I've heard about the Rolling Stones. So what are the boiling stones?
When you feel it's steaming up your interest, right? Don't worry. I think our next speaker will prove it. I give the floor to Anastasia Kolesnikova and Gander with the voice service.
Heat a glass of water and sooner or later your system rising up it and starts boiling. You certainly don't expect the same thing to happen if you heat it up. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Daria. And my name is Anastasia. And today I'd like to tell you about a special kind of rock called zeolite, which traps water inside it and actually can boil. Our report explores the background properties and applications of zeolite. The first zeolite was identified in 1756 by the Swedish researcher Frederick Cronstedt, who discovered that the sample of stilbite is heated, increases in volume and water is released. Stilbite is a mineral of the group of hydrated aluminum silicates. That's why this scientist coined the term zeolite. Today, the term refers to over 200 different minerals that have all kinds of interesting uses, from water softness and cat litter to animal food and industrial catalysts. The absorption of zeolites is based on absorption. Absorption is a concentration of a substance from the gas phase on the surface of the solid, or in the volume of pores that are in the structure. There are two types of zeolites, natural and synthetic. The main difference between them is that natural zeolites have smaller absorption volume than synthetic ones. Thus, natural zeolites can absorb small amounts of substances and only small-sized molecules. For example, water and oxygen molecules. That's why natural zeolites have been used only for reducing water hardness for a long time. About 40 years ago, in industrial laboratories of the USA, the USSR, and Great Britain, synthetic zeolites were produced. It was established
established that synthetic zeolites have unique properties as absorbent and catalyst by the results of experiments. In this scientific work, we will speak further about synthetic zeolites. Zeolites are very stable solids that resist the kinds of environmental conditions that challenge many other materials. High temperature don't bother them because they have relatively high melting points, over 1,000 degrees, and they don't burn. They also resist high pressures, don't dissolve in water and other solvents, and don't oxidize in the air. They are not believed to cause health problems through, for example, skin contact or inhalation.
The most interesting thing about zeolites is their open cage-like framework structure and the way it can trap all the molecules inside it. Zeolites have regular openings in them of fixed size, which let small molecules pass straight through but trap large ones. That's why they are sometimes referred to as molecular sieves. Unlike natural zeolites, which occur in random forms and mixed sizes, synthetic zeolites are manufactured in very precise and uniform sizes to suit a particular application. In other words, they are made a certain size to trap molecules of a certain sizes inside them.
The cage-like structure of zeolites make them useful in all sorts of ways. One of the biggest everyday uses for zeolites is in water softness and water filters. In ion exchange water softness, for example, hard water, rich in calcium and magnesium ions is piped through a column filled with sodium containing zeolites. The zeolites trap the calcium and magnesium ions and release sodium ions in their place. So the water becomes softer but richer in sodium.
Zeolites have proved extremely effective at removing radioactive particles from nuclear waste and cleaning up soils contaminated with toxic heavy metals. Following the Fukushima nuclear disaster in Japan in 2011, rice farmers raised zeolites on the fields in an attempt to trap any danger radioactive elements. The many other uses for zeolites include concrete production, soil conditioners, and
another important use for zeolites is as catalysts in drug production and in the petrochemical industry, where they're used in catalytic crackers to break large hydrocarbon molecules into gasoline, diesel, kerosene, waxes, and all kinds of other byproducts of petroleum.
We can conclude that an essential property of zeolites is their ability to absorb a substantial proportion of any liquid. The combination of cation exchange and metaphorous capacity determine the particular properties of zeolites and range of their applications. They are also essential to green chemistry, since the necessity for organic solvents is vast. Thank you for your attention.
If you have any question, we'd be pleased to answer them.
Thank you for the report.
Does it get stranger and stranger by the minute?
Don't be so focused. You are not the one who will answer the questions.
Thank you for a beautiful presentation. It was very interesting. And you say about the unique properties of the lights. What size of pores in the light?
they have nanometers.
First have different sizes for different applications because this board have photos of certain sizes.
We understand the effect of molecular speed. It means that the size of pores is comparable with size of molecules. For example, nitrogen, oxygen, what size of molecules of or lime compounds? Less than 1 nanometers or 3.5 nanometers.
Molecules have very small sizes.
0.4, 0.5 nanometers.
Yeah.
Size of molecules. Thank you.
Zeolites are good.
Because zeolites have water inside it, inside its structure, its structure. And when we heated it, water is released, and we absorb the oil. You know what I mean?
Please, there is how do we need to make water certain? Why do we need to teach calcium and magnesium times and these sodium times?
What's the hardness? Make it
We can talk about later after
The social media.
How ancient the natural zealots? Like how long would the basic forms?
How old?
Like 280 or 2000 AD.
okay, because zeolite was identified in 1786 by Kronstadt.
And after this, about 40 years, industrial operators of the youth and Great Britain modified zeolites, synthetic zeolites. Thank you.
I have a short remark about why we study water. The main development of the lights and systems of light was in the 20th century. And now we have new materials which are like the light, but more unique, with more unique properties. And I think that the light is also on the 20th century.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I will ask some clear question. Why did you choose to talk about porous materials? Are you interested in physical chemistry? No, or just we talk. Why did you choose? We chose this topic because zeolites are used in many branches of chemistry, and every chemist can deal with zeolites. This is my reason.
Any other questions, perhaps? All right, that was all.
Mr. Theodore, thank you for your report.
Probably interesting.
Worried about water pollution?
Well, it's silly to assume that we can find some extremely hazardous pollutant right in this bottle, but it's still rather hot topic. So I think we will dive much more deeper into this complex science, and we will ask the next speakers to come up and talk on that matter. So we give the floor to Daria Skrileva with her report, The Powerful Nature of Thin Film Photocatalysts for Sustainable Environment Protection.
Good afternoon. I'm going to present my non-organic research thesis on thin film photocatalysts. To begin with, I shall admit, it's not a secret that rapid increases of world population and widespread industrialization have greatly contributed to the environmental pollution. The continuous discharge of organic pollutants such as dyes in water sources causes water pollution and affects not only human health, but also the aquatic life in water bodies. This led humans to seek efficient water purification technologies urgently to change their current situation. Out of many water purification technologies available, photocatalytic wastewater treatment is very promising in future usage. Semiconductor materials have found wide application in photocatalysis due to their high efficiency in generating electrons and low sensitivity to temperature, making them more durable for long-term use. Powder catalysts are currently widely used to reduce concentration of air contaminants, which improves the air quality in indoor spaces and reduce the impact of pollutants on the environment. However, their use for water purification is complicated by the fact that removing them from the treated solution requires procedures such as certification and filtration, which complicates the application of these materials for real-world objects. Therefore, developing photocatalytically active materials in the form of thin film compounds transferring substrates is of interest, which will simplify the technology of photocatalytic wastewater treatment. Currently, at the Department of New Materials at Tom State University, we are developing thin film photocatalysts based on serum dioxide and tin dioxide. These oxides are of interest for us due to their high surface energy and degree of oxidation and corrosion resistance. Let's now move on to the details of our recent research. The samples were obtained by layer deposition of cerium dioxide and tin dioxide films on a white substrate. The films were prepared from film forming solution based on cerium-free nitride and tin chloride with salicylic acid added as an organic ligand. the concentration of the solution was 0.3, and ethyl alcohol was used as the solvent. The polymer composition was held for 3 days at the room temperature, and then was applied to the white substrate by cooling from the solution. In order to form an FFC gel on the substrate and to increase its adhesion to the substrate, the films were dried in a drying oven for 1 hour at 60 degrees. Further heat treatment was carried out in a muffle furnace at 500 degrees. A lithography method revealed that heterostructure films on a quartz substrate have a thickness of about 124 nanometers and refractive index of about 1.3. As you can see from the graph, the value of the band gap depends on the composition of the sample. The values of the optical band gap for individual are wider than for heterogenic ones. By studying the photocatalytic properties of heterostructure, we have obtained fascinating results. The study has shown that in the darkness, light is absorbed on the surface of the film with a level of 8% within 60 minutes. As seen from the figure, the maximum absorption speed of the methyl blue gradually decreases with increasing time of ultraviolet radiation of the reaction mixture. The degree of methyl blue decomposition in the presence of the photocatalyst reached 61%. Almost complete decomposition of methyl blue is achieved in 5 hours and 10 minutes. Degree of decomposition was 90%. After processing the data and obtaining the data obtained from the experiment, it was found that photocatalytic degradation of methyl blue on our samples under ultraviolet irradiation at room lighting was characterized by the rate constant, which you can see on the screen. Thus, in our research, we elucidated the optical properties of obtained samples and established that heterostructure exhibit photocatalytic activity. The formation of cerium dioxide and tin dioxide heterostructure allows to reduce the band gap and to increase the absorption of the visible spectrum. Furthermore, it has been established that the value of the reaction rate constant for photodecomposition of methyl blue on heterogenic thin film samples is comparable to the values of reaction rates for decomposition of organic dyes on powder photocatalyst. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thanks, Gander, for your report.
I'm glad to see that Robert is moving considerably forward in the world.
And we are moving inexorably towards the questions. So please, if you do have any questions, yes, sure.
I had several questions. The first is, did you compare your precise field with another catalyst? Are they better or not?
Thank you for your question. So in English, 3 seconds. So do you mean if we compare with other scientists that
With materials which are
also used in photocatalysis? Yeah, we compare and we compare with other oxides, semiconductors, and it have nearly the same properties and the same rate of decomposition of methyl blue in the same time.
And how did you conduct the reaction of degradation your dye?
Or okay, we have just we have an ultraviolet lamp, and twice bigger, and we the methyl group. We have 50 milliliters of our organic dye, and we put the photocatalyst into our mixture, and then we conduct our experiment with the stirring our photocatalyst to prevent the absorption of the dye to our beaker.
Question: is your catalyst recoverable? Can you recover it?
Yeah, we conduct maybe more than 5 experiments, and we have nearly the same results. It's about with the heterostructure, we have for 2 hours nearly 60%, and also we have not only heterostructure, we have a mixture of cerium and tin dioxide, and this compound showed us the decomposition of methyl blue nearly the 80% within 2 hours.
That's cool. And
Please keep it short, all right? Please keep it short, very short. We do not have much time.
oh, sorry.
All right. So the question from the Ria of the class, perhaps, no?
We have.
Well, all right. Just stop here. You can go.
I didn't catch about application. This food properties in the state process of decompose environmental interference.
Sorry, thank you for the question. First,
I didn't catch about application. What about the practical application of
is to decompose the dyes that, for example, some factories is taking to water, and we drink this water, and its effects not only for us and for the fish, for example. Yeah. Yeah, for the nature, and we try to decompose it into carbon dioxide and just water.
Right. So,
Please, can you remind me what substrates did you use? Was it glass or silicon?
We have white substrates and a thin films on it.
Okay, so can I ask you, did you try to obtain these oxides with unique properties with their structure in lower temperature modes? Because you mentioned that we use 500 degrees Celsius.
Oh, thank you for the question. Do you mean that could we carry out the heat treatment in a lower temperature?
Yeah.
So I think no, because only with this temperature, this dioxide is obtained.
Okay.
so no more questions, apparently. All right. Then thank you for the answers, and thank you for the
When we shall I predict something chemical to?
Well, I suppose that your wish will come true, and well, at least I hope our colleagues will do their job properly. So now it's an interactive great consult. I suppose we should create
Now it's time for quiz. So please take your phones and follow the link. Hopefully. Okay, the number of our room is on the desk.
I wonder where the ideas for nicknames come from. Very diverse.
Do we see interesting names? We can wait.
Smile.
Can we start? Okay, I think let's start. The first question. I advise you to answer quickly to get more points. Very good. Next. Without changes. The next question. We see some changes. Next question. Our leader is still this person. Next question. let's the next question. It was easy. The next question. We have good results. The next. And we have 2 questions. The next. And the last question. The last. Next question. Okay, the next.
No, you put next,
sorry.
yes, and we're going to see the winners.
Say the winners.
Disconnection.
Read the names. Yeah, we still can read. Yeah.
First place goes to Yegor.
You're so bad.
So the second place is for
Дарья Максимовна.
you get something correctly.
Oh, of course, I get a 13th place. I'm losing something in my mind.
That's absolutely right. Speaking of manifestations, by the way, do you have the understanding about the chemistry of our next talk?
I think I know the chemistry, but I have a plan.
What is the plan?
Just listen to the report and learn everything for the speakers. So I'll give the floor to Daria Kuznetsova and Екатерина Kuznetsova with their report, managed chemistry, process, life, and opportunity.
Can you ask how it works? Okay. What is it works? Good afternoon, everybody. We will talk about black and white photography. The things which we talked about in the past have taken place in our lives repeatedly, in the beauty industry, fashion, and other spheres. But some things are always present. For example, photography films. As images we like to describe chemical processes underlying black and white photography and reveal the secret of this enigmatic procedure. So let us now start. First is the formation of the lighting image. For some background, I shall mention that silver halides are ionic crystals consisting of irregular cubic ledges of silver and halides ions with small proportions of defects. The important one is interstitial silver ion that is being displaced from their regular position by heating. The most widely accepted theory of the formation of the light image is a step-by-step mechanism. In the first step, a photon interacts with a loosely bound electron ranging from its side to wander through the lattice. The wandering electron is then recaptured by a trap where it contains polluted enough that silver ion can move to it because of the attraction of opposite charges to form a silver atom. The scheme of the reaction you can see in the slide. Once this happens, the same thing can occur again at the same place until a tiny peak of silver is built up to form a light image. A trap having an important role in this process is the sensitivity center, this chemical synthesized with suitable reagent on a initial step.
Now let's talk about developers. Then to develop the emulsion so the latent image is converted to a visible image, we must choose reducing agent that reduces to a silver those grains that have been exposed to a light and leaving dead those grains that have not been exposed. Usually developers are mixtures of reducing agent and additives, an alkali, an easily oxidized sulfide compound, and one or more antiphotons. Both inorganic and organic compounds can be used as developers, but these days it's preferable to use aromatic organic compounds which are derivatives of benzene. For instance, hydroquinone can be used by itself as a reducing agent or in a mixture with metol or phenidone. Structure formulas and reactions you can see in the slides. Oxidized form of developer affects the development, so sulfide compound is usually included in the solution, acts as a scavenger of spent developer, and as preservative inhibiting oxidation by the air oxygen. Products of reaction with sulfide affect the development in a more controlled way. Then, aqueous solution of developers forms hydrogen ions. Since hydrogen ions control the rate at which developer reduces silver halide to a silver, in the solution adds alkali accelerator for conducting reducing agent to the ionized form. It also acts to stabilize pH during the life of the developer and to neutralize hydrobromic acid formed during the reduction reaction and acids added to dissolve silver halides. And finally, some exposed grains are always developed, giving rise to a background fog. To avoid formation of fog, developer contains a restrainer, potassium bromides, that retards development of not exposed grains.
So far, we have looked at the type of developers. Now we'd like to explain the development mechanisms. Historically, the development process has been presented in two terms of physical and chemical development. As chemists will explain the chemical one. The reduction of exposed crystals starts at one or more latent image nuclei and proceeds until the entire crystal is reduced or the developer is removed. Exposed crystals which were suffered from the light are used much more rapidly than non-exposed crystals because the silver atom acts as a catalytic center for further silver halides. The electrochemical mechanism has been proposed in which the growing silver acts as a catalytic electrode to permit both partial processes. A second possible mechanism is the adsorption catalysis. One or more reactants occurs to adsorb at the silver surface or silver-silver halides interface. An intermediary complex between the developer and silver ion is formed. Then this complex interacts with the silver atom, storing the activation energy needed for the reaction process. Reaction occurs by electronic rearrangement, and the complex is decomposed to the oxidized form of the developer and the silver atom. It's possible that two mechanisms change to each other, especially since a small amount of silver cannot act as an electrode in the early states.
After development, all the processes are employed to make the image stable. Preferably, the material is first rinsed in a water or in a fixing bath or in a stove bath to lower the pH and remove developer chemicals. It usually contains acetic acid to neutralize any alkaline developer carried into it. Then the material immersed in a fixing bath to dissolve out silver halides. Because silver halides are insoluble in the water, to remove them from emulsion, they must be converted to water-soluble thiosulfate complex compounds. So potassium thiosulfate or ammonium thiosulfate usually included in the fixing bath. Then material must be washed in a flowing water to remove fixing bath chemicals and soluble silver ion complexes to prevent destroying the print by giving yellow or brown silver sulfite. The next step, our material must be rinsed in a solution of hydrogen peroxide and ammonia to remove last trace of thiosulfate, which also called hypo. This solution acts as hyper-eliminator. And finally, we must dry our material as even as possible. So drying is conducted by convection in the warm air. They were the main processes underlying black-white photography, which are still relevant today. I will remind you of main steps by outlining in the slides. Hope you enjoyed, and we would be glad to answer your questions.
For the report, I do still find the black and white shots extremely beautiful.
Yeah, that's goes amazing. I agree with you. And while we're compliment Lucy, please your question.
Once again, for your opinion, how do you think the digital photo can for replacement the old school style photography?
Please.
How do you think can digital photo for replacement the old school style photography?
If Katya don't mind, I can answer. So I think never, because black-white photography have I know spatial atmosphere. How you can see in this photo, I think it's pretty. It's pretty, and it's really interesting process, and it could be as a hobby for. You can do it with your friends. It's more interesting when you just use your phone. Thank you for your question.
I have a question about the room. Why we need to work in dark room or room with red line, red lights?
It's a really question because for me it was very interesting why this mini labs had this red lights, and in my opinion, lights is good because the red light has less wavelength, so it has less energy, and silver lights
My question is not that much of a question, but rather a comment. Could you please go back to the previous slide?
Of course.
Yeah, so if we take a look at the second section with fixing that, there are the quotation marks. Hypo, ammonium hyper are in quotation marks, right? So I'm not intending to criticize you, just for the future development. These are the Russian quotation marks. So make them uppercase if you want to stick to the Western style.
Okay, we don't have to, but we wanted to work with it and we wanted to show you some sort of experiments, but we couldn't do it, so we don't have any experience. This is the best one. I think yes.
Is anything else to ask? Oh, yes, no. Well, thank you. Daddy, Christina, thank you for your report.
Smart by the end of the conference.
Sluggish at all. It's just that serious. One of the days that makes people go.
Is that why you're so small?
Is that why you're so small, perhaps?
You might want to listen to our next speakers rather than being sarcastic, so we will give the floor to Yulia Polishuk with the report, Why Students Crave Sleep or Ideal Sleep.
Don't close your eyes. Just think of something scary. Too bad I can't help falling asleep. Yeah.
We're dreaming away. Too bad I wanna sleep and close my eyes.
Very merry.
Too bad I wanna sleep and close my eyes.
Very, very merry.
Too bad I wanna sleep and close my eyes.
Shooby-doo. This familiar show for us. So first of all, let us consider our sleep profile. Let us use the observation powers. Why do we so often sleep? Why do you have to sleep 7 or 8 hours in day? Why God isn't your friend? For today, we are going to this solution. We are going to begin to the solution of this issue. Certainly, most of us. Certainly, most of us are familiar with this feeling after sleepless night. This feeling includes zero efficiency, fatigue, attempts, trying to work out. So sleep make us look like zombie. However, this is reality for most people as students which study at university or high school. Again, how we can solve this problem? We know we can escape from this vision cycle.
Left, right. To the right.
Yes. Okay, from the next slide, we show the vast majority of participants think that this factor affects the stress, vitamin deficiency, downsleep, physical activity, distracting factors, like from gadget, excess of coffee, and energy. So what do scientific studies tell us? To answer this question, we begin by taking a closer look at English idiom. This idiom is a perfect storm. Perfect storm. This means a critical situation created by a powerful compress on factors. According to this model, sleep is affected two factors, physiological factors and social factors. For example, yesterday I woke up at 7 o'clock because yesterday I had to go to university. But today I wake up at 10 o'clock because today is weekend. However, everything is not what it seems. In puberty, shift of sleep-wake cycle begins. This leads to falling asleep later. This is due to reasons. The first reason is melatonin. Melatonin is hormone of sleep. Depending when in your brain creates melatonin, it helps to regulation the circadian rhythm and synchronize sleep-wake cycle. It is due to teenage, it's high sensitive to rising and show. So peak of melatonin secretion shifts all at a time. The second reason is wakefulness at night. This phenomenon is observed in all teenagers regardless of culture habits. The sleep two processes, the circadian process and homeostatic process. The circadian process is rhythmic, its cycle is approximately 24 hours. The activity of melatonin regulation of cycle. The homeostatic process is associated process. The accumulation of fatigue. It's increased during the day and decreased during the night. Look at the picture. We see two components model of sleep regulation. We can make conclusion the best time to go to sleep at 11 p.m. and wake up at 7 p.m. Accumulation sleep is slow process for teenagers. Person falls asleep at lesser time, but wake up at same time. Before a person sleeps less, lack of sleep accumulates as you grow older. Accumulated effects have the heaviest influence on studies. Now that we have discussed physiological factors we can pursue better. So what about social factors? Can we influence it? Their factors include workload, screen time, social network. But scientists did not reach consensus if it's true that these factors have negative effects on your sleep. This is not a recommendation from internationality, somnology, and pediatric organization about use of gadgets. Another factor is academic workload that kicks us in the gut. What about coffee? If you drink coffee since puberty, it negatively affects on your body. As a result, anxiety, hand tremor, tachycardia. You think, oh my God, so many problems we can solve, but we are not alone in this world. Scientists do every possible to help us. I think you indicate small steps to solve this problem. The solution can be easily reached. Recommendation: stick to regulate pattern of waking, sleeping at a specific time, but get 30 minutes for relax. Cultivate healthy daily habits, be physically active, cut down caffeine in afternoon and evening. Thank you for attention.
I hope you now have the understanding of the need.
Of course, and if the participants have any questions, they can ask them now. Yes, sure.
Okay, my question, do you always follow the rules that you told about? Like,
Please repeat, please.
Do you always follow the rules or recommendation that you told about?
Yes.
Always or not always?
Not
Every
always.
day?
Not always. Often. I have one. I have 1 month. have these habits, and I feel really good. I don't feel fatigue, don't feel zero efficiency. It's good.
You told about coffee influence to sleep. What about tea?
Caffeine and tea really influence on our body, our condition, general condition. And I don't drink coffee during too much, and I feel good. It's really negative effect. I make conclusion that I fall asleep fastly.
So, how do you think? Is it able to follow the rules or regulations by studying our faculty?
I don't hear.
And you need to repeat?
Yeah.
What do you think? Is it able to follow the rules, the recommendations in studying in our faculty?
Impossible. Since you last word faculty.
When you study faculty of chemistry, is it possible to follow the rules that you suggest?
I think if you don't fall asleep at night and it's during for 2 days or 3 days, you be crazy. Yes. And I think you should follow this recommendation. If
You're going crazy, you should
yeah,
follow.
yeah.
It's okay. Keep that in mind. Thank you.
Question from the rear.
In your presentation, you mentioned the coffee. Are there any other stuff like tonics that allow us to live longer, but not for that will give us after all sleep? Because as I know, there's not only caffeine and stuff.
Reformulate the question. What is
You mentioned caffeine. Do you know something like, can you mention others like stuff that provides the same effect, and maybe how much you can consume it, like a day, a week, a year, or something like that? That's a question.
We can talk about this later, I think, but it can contact you guys in the social networks, exchange our messages on that.
Are there any good effects of taking some body or this negative substance and whatever? Are there any positive effects? Maybe if you can be active at this moment, you will think and you feel so.
cheerful.
Yeah. I think it's positive projects. This is so difficult question. Dealing with this.
Okay, it's your question. No.
So you provided a poll, and you said that some people have vitamin deficiency. Hope there's some ways to
I think this students use
they decided that they have a lack of vitamins. They didn't have some diagnosis.
You don't know how you know a crowd of fans after the conference will be asking us to escape.
An additional question, perhaps you want to talk to.
Your opinion, what's better or worse, energy juice or coffee? Your opinion. What's better coffee for you?
I think the best effects on energy, you say energy.
So any more questions, perhaps? All right, that seems to be all. So thank you, Julia, for your answers. We can conclude today's part of the conference.
That's right. And before we go further, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Vladimir.
Once again, following the yesterday's tradition, I would like to conclude today's meeting with a short awarding of the experts. I should say that I'm immensely happy that we have had such a vigorous discussion today. Many questions have been asked, many answers have been given, and I'm sure that there is a scope for more, since apparently in the social media there will follow after discussions. So thank you very much once again, dear experts, and I would like to present you special gifts, if I may call them that way, and all this beautiful notebooks to take notes along the way, and the certificates that have been signed by the Dean of the Faculty of Foreign Languages, Olga. So these beautiful things are going to what you are doing. Having the real profession.
Ребята молодцы, вот, да?
Whichever you prefer.
Что очень порадовало, это качество презентации. То есть все презентации сделаны на высоком уровне и по оформлению, и потому что вы представляете. Что очень интересно, это Magic, да? В некоторых областях для вас химия показана Magic, и я надеюсь, что по мере обучения этих магических вещей будет становиться все меньше, потому что вы будете раскрывать секреты точки зрения да, термодинамики, кинетики и того, как протекают реакции, да, там, почему солидные, кипящие и так далее. То есть вообще все молодцы, мне очень понравилось. Спасибо.
So the next certificate and the notebook goes to Arina Eduardovna.
In Russian. Ребята, какие вы молодцы. Особенно я хотела отметить не столько ваши презентации, сколько ваши мужественные ответы на вопросы. Мне сказали, что вы начинашки многие. И то, как мужественно вы держались, отвечая на вопросы, вы супер. You're amazing, you're fantastic. Thank you so much.
Really surprising. The next bunch of gifts goes to Казанцева Ксения.
Мне понравились, во-первых, стили презентации. Вы реально круто их делаете и растете. Я просто вижу с каждым годом, как по-разному они начинают выглядеть, как много времени и сил вкладывают люди. И спасибо большое всем, кто выступал сегодня. Вы большие молодцы, у вас разные темы, у вас крутые идеи, хорошая подача. Вот. И простите, если я задаю какие-то странные вопросы, мне просто это очень интересно.
Было очень интересно слушать ваши доклады, очень интересные темы, никогда. Много нового для себя извлекла сегодня, в принципе, как вы выступали, и я по коллегам. Качество презентации, качество выступлений, очень круто. Вот было бы так на всех научных конференциях.
But please, Irina Gor, the person who suddenly, yesterday, suggested
Если впервые была экспертом, когда не видела себя в такой роли, и спасибо большое Екатерине Дойной, и вообще ребята приняли меня в качестве эксперта. Ребята, вы очень крутые. Мне каждый год поражает такое количество клевых докладов вы делаете. Я второй год организатор, первый год эксперт. Было очень интересно всех послушать. Я очень надеюсь, что вы еще художественно останетесь, будете дальше участвовать, и, может быть, быть организаторы. Вот, если, конечно, конференция продолжится. Вот, будет очень здорово, и вас.
Sorry for Russian. I would like to remind that voting for the best report of the second day according to the audience will start now. Thank you, Alana. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
So now we should ask the experts to make their decision and final conclusions, and we will meet again in 15 minutes.
Через 20. Давайте через 20.
Миша, я здесь пару слов.
Можно включать.